We say our goodbyes, and just like every time I get off the phone with him, I feel a knot in my gut, threatening to make me sick. I know what the job entails. I know the lies we tell our families while we're deployed so they can sleep easier at night. We never give them the full truth. We don't talk about the close calls or the people we've lost along the way. Death, carnage, and injuries are swept away with saying, "I had a bad day," or "Things got a little wild today." Civilians wouldn't understand. Civilians don't want to understand, and that's fine by me because I don't want to talk about the shit I've seen, the things I've had to do to survive. But the guys I'm joining know the score. They've all been through it. They've all lived the same nightmares, some longer than others. Dominic Anderson, Kincaid's older brother, isn't an official member of the Cerberus MC, but he's an integral part of the organization. He spent 20 years in the Corps, the longest-serving member if my research is correct. Knowing what I know about military life and active combat, my worry over Bishop is warranted. He's my best friend, and has been for the last several years. We know everything about each other, literally everything considering that drunken night in Bahrain, but we didn't let that ruin our friendship. I make my way around the shitty motel room gathering my things, trying not to let depression set in when I realize one overstuffed gym bag counts for all of my worldly possessions. I've practically been deployed continually the last 4 years, so collecting shit and settling in any one place for too long seemed pointless. But looking down at the bag on the bed is eye-opening. I think about calling my parents, but I can't suffer through another round of their disappointment since they won't wrap their heads around the fact that Cerberus isn't some criminal motorcycle club running drugs, guns, and selling women. No matter how many times I told them to stop watching SOA to get their information, they won't listen. I guess I can be grateful that they watched McHale's Navy to understand my time spent in the Corps. With one final sigh, I leave the hotel room, jump on my bike, and head to the Cerberus clubhouse. Only once on the ride over do I consider turning around and heading in the opposite direction. Several women smile at me from the kitchen while I wait outside of the conference room. I don't know why I'm nervous. I've faced groups of men who snarl at me just for having a vagina, men who hate me because they believe women have no place in combat, men who want me to get hurt so I'll go back to where I belong. Their words, not mine. Men who think women in combat compromise missions because the guys were likely to protect me over doing their own damn jobs. I proved myself over and over. I can protect my damn self when things get hairy. I proved more than once that I've had their six when it was called for. But this is a new group of guys, a new group of Marines I have to convince that I belong. It's like fucking starting over from day one. I don't have long to stand and stew because the door swings open and Snatch, a ridiculous name but I've heard worse, waves me in. The club must be pretty damn progressive because not only is this guy covered in tattoos, including pierced stars on each cheek, but from what I hear, the guy is gay and his husband works here as well. Silence washes over the room as I walk in, and it's louder than a mortar blast in my ears. But instead of trembling and turning around to bolt, I snap my head up and walk toward the front of the room. I met several of the original guys during the interview process, and although that was nerve-wracking, it doesn't compare to seeing them all lined up at the front of the room. "We're a progressive club," McCain says with a welcoming smile as I approach. "And I have no doubt that each and every one of you will make sure Rivet feels welcome." "A woman in the club?" some guy at my back mumbles. "Never thought I'd see the day." I don't take offense. I was prepared for this sort of reaction. I make sure to meet eyes with Dominic, Kid, and even Shadow, who's holed up in the corner with a spread of computer screens in front of him. There's a guy beside him I haven't met, but we'll get to introductions eventually. "Listen," I begin, as I turn around to face the group of men sitting around the huge conference table. "I know what you're all thinking. A woman has no place in Cerberus." "That is not what I'm thinking right now," a smiling ginger says with a salacious look in his eyes.